Hello, my name is Marc-Andre Boucher. I'm a wildlife biologist and head of conservation programs at the Creston Valley Wildlife Management Area in Creston, British Columbia. The following video presents activities we conducted and some of the results we obtained in 2025-2026 as part of the Kootenay Connect project funded through Environment and Climate Change Canada's community-nominated priority places for species at risk and facilitated by the Kootenay Conservation Program. We conclude this video with highlights from the past 7 years of Kootenay Connect project. In 2025-2026, we conducted a single project that focused on completing habitat restoration and wildfire mitigation activities on the forested and rocky slope of Creston Mountain in a 15-hectare area adjacent to the Creston Valley Wildlife Management Area Administration Office Building. This project was initiated in 2024-2025 to enhance habitat for western skinks, rubber boas, and common nighthawks primarily, while also lessening wildfire risk through mechanical hand brushing and thinning. The initial goal was to treat all of the 15-hectare project area. However, due to the density and thickness of the shrub patches encountered and rocky steep terrain, crews were able to treat just under half of the 15-hectare project area. Close to 3 hectares were treated in 2024-25 and 3.3 hectares in 2025-26. The brushing also generated a significant number of brush piles needing to be burnt, affecting the size of the total area treated. In 2025-2026, we hired a certified faller to remove dangerous trees and snags around CVWMA structures and create ladder fuel breaks throughout the project area. The felling resulted in the crew spending a significant amount of time cleaning up and bucking up down trees, which again took time away from brushing over a larger area. Brushing and felling was also conducted along the upper portion of the Balancing Rock Trail, up a hill and west of the CVWMA Administration Building to create fire breaks and open up habitat for western skinks and common nighthawks. Several reptiles observations were made along those areas both in 2024 and 2025.
We repeated reptile surveys in 2025 using the same methodology as in 2024. Surveys started on April 24th and were conducted on a roughly weekly basis until October 6th. A total of 24 individual surveys were completed. Surveys were predominantly carried out by a single observer except for one survey in early July. Survey effort amounted to 82 person-hours. We detected all 5 species known to occur in the local area during surveys, including common and western terrestrial garter snakes, western skink, northern alligator lizard, and northern rubber boa. 50 reptile detections and 4 snakeskin shed observations were made. We encountered western skinks most often with 25 observations. Northern alligator lizards and rubber boa were detected 11 and 10 times respectively. By contrast, garter snakes were rarely observed, with 3 observations of western terrestrial garter snakes and 1 observation of a common garter snake. Unfortunately, we did not detect any common nighthawks or their nests in the survey area in 2025.
As reported last year, the limbing and thinning should decrease the intensity of a ground wildfire should one come through, and help reduce transference of the fire from the ground into the canopy. The limbing should also improve sight lines throughout the project area and should benefit ungulates such as white-tailed deer, mule deer, and elk. Anecdotal observations noted during monitoring of the winter work activities already points out to an increase in ungulate use within the area treated in year 6. Fresh ungulate tracks, droppings, and evidence of browsings were widespread in the previously treated area. While no common nighthawks were detected in 2025, we are confident that the additional activities implemented in years 6 and 7 will benefit the species in the short and long term, especially if more work can be conducted in the coming years to continue enhancing the forest to a more open state over a larger area.
In addition to the project on Creston Mountain for reptile habitat enhancement and wildfire risk reduction, we also monitored the newly built Swallow Resort, an artificial nesting structure for barn swallows built in November 2024 at the Duck Lake nesting area. Nest check surveys were completed nearly every week between April 23rd and August 25th, culminating in roughly 4.8 person-hours of survey time across 20 individual surveys. We were thrilled to find that one pair found and used the Swallow Resort in 2025, nesting twice in one of the 72 pre-installed wooden nesting cups. We counted a total of 9 fledglings across both breeding attempts, 5 from the first and 4 from the second. Finally, we monitored bobolinks in the northern pasture of West Meadows Farm, with 2025 marking the 3rd consecutive year of monitoring since livestock grazing restrictions were put in place. Overall, we conducted 13 separate surveys and spent 57.5 person-hours in the field between May 14th and August 6th. The first bobolinks were seen on May 21st, and the first fledglings were detected on July 17th. We estimated that 8 or 9 males and between 8 to 10 females were present in the pasture during the breeding season. The largest survey totals were recorded as the breeding season wrapped up, with a high count of roughly 36 birds in the last 2 weeks of survey.
As spring is officially around the corner in the Creston Valley, and as the Kootenay Connect project is wrapping up after 7 years of activities, it is a good time to reflect on what we accomplished during that period. Completed activities range from habitat treatments to remove encroaching emergent vegetation in core northern leopard frog breeding habitat to improve seasonal hydrology to benefit the species' life cycle. Upgrading water level management infrastructure to better react to the changing climate and its impact on wetland hydrology and vegetation. Develop a landscape connectivity framework that integrates existing wildlife knowledge with new habitat features that improve movement across the landscape. Construct new habitat features such as ponds and channels to increase habitat complexity and provide additional breeding and movement opportunities for amphibians. Install wildlife-friendly fences along agricultural areas exposed to grazing to conserve and improve riparian and wetland habitat. Seasonally restrict grazing into suitable nesting bobolink habitat. Remove derelict water management infrastructure and upgrade the infrastructure to improve habitat management capabilities. In constructing an artificial nesting structure for barn swallows. While every activity completed reached various levels of success, we want to highlight the following 3 projects. The fencing of the riparian and wetland edge habitat adjacent to the core northern leopard frog breeding area and along the east channel of the Kootenay River to exclude cattle grazing resulted in the vegetation rebounding very rapidly after fencing. We observed cottonwood shoots over 1.5 meters in height approximately a year after cattle was excluded, and the ground cover also increased considerably as a result of this activity, greatly improving overall foraging and movement habitat quality for birds, invertebrates, bats, and mammals. As touched upon earlier in this video, the construction of the artificial nesting structure for barn swallows, the Swallow Resort, in the Dutt Lake nesting area, has already showed promising results with 1 pair of barn swallows occupying the structure in its first year. We remain very optimistic that more pairs will utilize the structure in the coming years. Finally, the excavation of 3 new wetland ponds over a 6-hectare area of the Nature Conservancy of Canada's Frog Bear property and the addition of a 500-meter-long sinuous wetland channel on CVWMA's West Meadows Farm's east parcel have added significant habitat complexity to a portion of more homogeneous agricultural land and is now offering better movement, foraging, and breeding opportunities for amphibians, painted turtles, and many other species. We are looking forward to seeing how the enhanced habitat progresses in the coming years. We are very thankful for the funding from Environment and Climate Change Canada that made it possible to implement so many habitat restoration activities over the past 7 years through the Kootenay Connect project. A big shout out to the Kootenay Conservation Program for successfully coordinating budgets, organizing meetings, and keeping us all on track through those 7 years. We are grateful for the opportunities to work on and care for the traditional land of the Yakanuki people, and for collaborating with all of the following agencies and organizations.